welcome you to this second Sunday of Lent. And if you listen to our reading this morning, especially the gospel we heard about the transfiguration of the Lord, the experience of the mountain. And I believe most of us are familiar with the mountain. What mountain is all about, the hiking. And most times, if you are not strong, you cannot climb the mountain. The mountain is not for those who are weak, for those who are strong. And in the religious term, you see that encounter more, God encountering his people more on the mountain. Even in the Old Testament, we see Moses encounter God on the mountain, even the first encounter, where God told him to take off his shoe, and even receiving the commandment, he also ascended the mountain of Sinai, and there he remained for some 40 days, and received the commandment too. And we saw also even Elijah, whose name appeared also, we see that encounter with God also on the mountain, at Mount Horeb. And even when he ran out of strength, it was still on that mountain that God ministered to him, sent angels to come and minister to him and send him food. That is the idea of the mountain. And Jesus again in the New Testament, again, we see this idea again of the mountain. The beatitude was given also on the mountain. The beatitude on the mountain. It was this that blessed are those, blessed are the poor in spirit, blessed are those, the meek, and these are still on the mountain. And oftentimes we hear also him going to the mountain also, even towards his crucifixion and death again. It was at Calvary again at the foot of the mountain that he paid that supreme price. The mountain, not even in our secular world, we are familiar with the same mountain. The highest mountain where we were children in school would hear of the mountain Kilimanjaro, I think somewhere in Africa, in East Africa. And we're reading a book written by Nana Wajewa, I think an East African, was saying the idea of climbing the mountain and even the ascending and descending the mountain is not an easy task. It's not for, if you are not strong, you can't do that. Sometimes it takes days to do that. Sometimes it takes a few. And you cannot go with a lot of water, maybe a few, maybe container of water, and just some bread, you put it on your knapsack or your bag and move. And to go on top of the mountain is a difficult thing, to go there. To remain there also is difficult. And when you want to come down also from the mountain, it's not an easy. If you are this type that suffers a kind of sickness, and you cannot even look at the food, and you just be just like somebody going on top of the mountain, a high building, you cannot remain there. There are some people who have what we call aerophobia. Even on the flight, they are scared. They don't like flying, they don't like flight. So anything high. So these are the places God made his people. The idea of the mountain. And you remember also last Sunday, two particular words again, 10 came in the reading of last Sunday, the garden and also the wilderness or the desert. The garden was the place our forefathers, our forefathers, parents were, Adam and Eve. And I noticed even around here also, most of us have garden at home. And that's the place we will take some leisure, want to have realization, want to relax, want to share things with our friends. And go to certain time, even outside that place. Maybe during summer, we'll do that very well. But simply, garden is a place of comfort, a place of leisure, a place of happiness. But desert or wilderness are places where you need to make little sacrifices, where things will not be easy. Some of you might have heard of the Sahara Desert and all those places, those who cross through the desert to maybe escape to other nations. You know that, you know what they pass through in the desert. And during Lent also, this experience are also brought to us. That this moment is not only a moment of pleasure for us, it's a moment also that we need to make our own little sacrifice. our own little penance, as we call it in the Catholic Church, the 4 elements of Lent that we should not forget, we know them very well. Prayer, fasting, almsgiving, and what? Abstinence. This, to figure all this into this experience, this charity. But if you see the gospel, you see what Peter said. Peter, as we know in the gospel, from the Bible, he was a family man. He has wife and children over there. But after encountering God in that place, that beautiful place, he told Jesus, let us make 3 booths, 3 places. One for you, one for us, because he saw the glory of God. And nobody encountered God and remained the same. How do we feel when we come into the presence of God? Even when we talk idea of the cloud represents the presence of God. We see that more even in the Old Testament. When God wants to appear to his people, they void the scenario of the cloud. The cloud overshadowing them. We see that even more in the Old Testament. Even while the children of Israel were coming from Egypt to the promised land, they took out again when they appeared before God. The idea of the cloud. If you read, go to the Psalm 90 and 91 as well in our Bible, it talks about those who dwell in the shelter of God, of the Most High, and abide in the shade of God, the Almighty. Divine presence. How do we feel? Our own mountain is where we are. We will not look high in the high rocks to climb. But each time we are in the presence of God, each time we are in church, we are in God's presence. How do we feel? How do we approach God? How is our hearts turned towards God? Especially in this moment of God. And the idea of the voice, we hear that voice in the Old Testament, God speaking to his people. Yahweh speaking to his people. And again, the voice also be able to do in the gospel. My beloved son, listen to him. Are we ready to listen to Jesus? Amidst our busy world today, amidst all the distractions around us, you know your own, I know mine. Amidst the distraction of the social media and various things attached to it, do we still have time to listen to God? His word in our families, when we come to the church. It's a command, it's not an option, listening to God. Deep within you, God is also speaking to you. There's a book written by somebody called Lord Speak to Me. At every moment of our life, even in your working place, God speaks to you from that inner voice to do good. Do you listen to Jesus? Or do we just come to look at him? Or do we come only to admire him? The moment of Lent, this period of Lent, we are encouraged, we are called, we are encouraged to listen to God. Reading his word, meditating on his ways. And when we pray too, we know our method of prayers. God is calling us to listen to him, to listen to his son. And as we will listen to him, as he says in Psalm 23, who will lead us to a greener pasture. Peace be with you.
And with your spirit.